All right, let's get to it. Hello, everyone. Soul Commodore, I'm back at you again, here with some more live painting as my camera gets all shaky. So we are on the final. Relax. We are on the final three panels of this painting. Uh, Weird to think that we're here already. But yeah, we just got these last three panels, and we're going to be working on that today. Right now, I'm just doing the actual carbon transfer of the sketch. So we're going to be working on this until we're done today. Which honestly, I don't think will take all that long, because these final sections are largely just going to be hair and clothes. There's not going to be a whole lot of like these sections are going to be a lot like this panel right here. A lot of hair and some clothing, and really not all that complicated, not all that complex like the face. We're not really going to do anything like this. And then once we're done that, we're just going to give it a once over, see if there's any areas that we need to clean up. And then once that's done, painting will be finished. So why don't we get to it? So yeah, right now I'm just doing the carbon transfer of these final three sections. Nothing too exciting, but hey, it's part of the process, you know? My wife and I were talking to her brother, my brother-in-law. He and his fiance just got back from a trip, so glad that they're back safe. All right. And what I decided to do this time around is, instead of getting a like a big long piece of carbon transfer paper, I'm just using a small little section here, just like that. Um, and then just kind of sliding it down as I need it. Works a lot better in my opinion. Expedites the process really nicely. Again, this green section is it's so difficult to actually see the carbon transfer. But that's okay. It's fine. But it shows up so much better on the yellow and blue, which makes sense. But blocking too much. Oh. That's off the edge of the canvas. That's why that jumped like that. This would have been so much easier if I was smart and would have put this on the ground or something, but oh well. Yeah, I'm just using a pen, just going over the lines that I already drew with the pencil. And it just transfers the carbon directly onto the canvas, so I have a basis to work from. Shoutouts to Gage, who is in the chat. I think he's cooking dinner now, but was in the chat for suggesting this idea. It has worked beautifully. And no ink actually has to come out of the pen. It's kind of nice when the ink does, because then it lets me know where I've been and what I have and haven't done. But no ink actually has to come out. It's just the pressure, the pen pressure, that's the important thing. There we go. And just like that, this section is also done. This is all kind of messy on the side here, but that's okay. It's allowed to be. All right. With that, let's grab our paint. Seems really. I think one of my light bulbs burnt out. Oh well. What are you gonna do? Where's my tape? All right. Let's see. Speaking of tape, let's see if this tape is still viable from what I used earlier. I'm hoping so, because then it means I don't have to pull more off. Use more of it, but we'll see. Yeah, it should be fine. We don't have to go up as high because these sections are shorter in terms of where the portrait actually starts. Someone who was here on the last stream, a new stream friend, asked a very good question about whether this tape actually damages the paint that's already on the canvas. And the answer is actually no. It doesn't. It pulls off very easily, actually, without damaging any of the paint. And this is the funny thing is this isn't even painter's tape. This is just regular old masking tape, green masking tape from the dollar store, basically. All right. Actually, I will be right back. I just have to check something. I think someone's knocking at the door. So I will be right back, everybody. All right, I'm back. Thank you for your patience, everybody. We are back. And we are getting our brush together. Well, brushes, I should say. It's multiple brushes. Getting down to the nitty-gritty with this thing. We're almost there. All right. And we'll wash this brush off too. I will try to stay out of the way of this with my body as much as I can. And I still haven't cleaned up the back of my neck. I meant to do that earlier, so actually that'll be slightly better. Now you'll see less of it. I meant to do that earlier this week, but time got away from me. I'm due for a haircut, basically. All right, so now we got the male figure. Got his ear. And a little bit of his beard. And the rest of the shirt. Bit of a shadow. Get to work. Hope y'all have had a good day so far today. Wednesday. No, Thursday. Wednesday was yesterday, TJ. Come on, man. here. Been a bit of a busy week so far. Not so much with work or anything, but with my own personal endeavors. I'm getting ready to. I can't decide. There's a. So I don't know if y'all remember the paint contest that I had talked about me being in. But they have a juried show that's coming up. The submission deadline is on the 30th. And wouldn't you know it, both this painting and Amalgam, the other one with all the faces, are within the size limit. So I can't. I gotta decide whether I'm submitting this one or Amalgam. I haven't decided yet. This one's going to be titled Chimera. But I gotta make that decision pretty soon. Who's texting me now? Oh, it's my wife. The answer to that question is yes, but I can't answer her right now. That's a little bit too dark. Didn't mean to go that dark. But yeah, I got to decide whether I'm going to submit this one or Amalgam. I'm not sure. But I only have 10 days to figure it out. Okay, so we're going to take some paint off that brush. Still too much paint on the brush. Oh my goodness. Didn't think I'd have to do this much cleaning up already. There we go. That's better. The thing is, between the two paintings, I don't really have a preference because I like both of them so much. And I mean, it's a juried show, so who knows? They may not even get picked, you know? But I can only submit one of them, so I gotta make that decision soon. All right, that's good. I'll move up here on the head. Well, further up the head. The ears are still on the head, TJ. There we go. And we have to do a continuation of this eyebrow, which will be about here. Oh. Come on. When I actually want a substantial amount of paint on the brush, not giving it. There we go. Now we're going to take some more paint off the brush. There's the one on here. Just some more work right there. There we go. You guys won't really be able to see the change that I just made, but it made it better, that's for sure. Okay. Now, what's next? The beard. Need a few more individual hairs there. Just a few. Also, I'm still going to put it to a poll, but if I'm being honest, because we're coming up on the end of both Undertale and well, coming up on the end of Undertale. I was vacillating between doing Tears of the Kingdom or moving on to doing Deltarune. And if I'm being honest, I'm actually more geared toward moving on to Tears of the Kingdom because I haven't played Chapter 4 of Deltarune yet, but like other RPGs, I like to have a little bit more backstory behind them because I hate missing stuff in RPGs, right? I hate missing stuff in RPGs. So I think what I'm gonna do is, because I already know quite a bit of the secrets and stuff in Tears of the Kingdom, I'm going to hold off on doing Undertale or Deltarune until after that. But it also depends on all y'all, because if you all would rather see Deltarune than Tears of the Kingdom, then I will play Tears of the Kingdom. Or then I won't play Tears of the Kingdom. I will play Deltarune instead. I played through chapters 1, 2, and 3 fully. I just haven't done chapter 4 yet. And that's just mostly due to a lack of time. Okay, so next I'm gonna pull out the big brush. Well, the bigger brush for all of this area down here, because a lot of this is just gonna be black, basically. There we go. Look at that. We're basically a half hour in, and we're almost done one panel. And there's only two to go, so I think we're making good time. Okay, so I'm going to take some paint off of this brush now. Start doing this stuff up here. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Yeah. Right, I think this panel is done. Yeah, looks pretty done to me. All right, but like I said, there is a couple of things that I'm actually going to do now. Here's my eraser. Sorry, the camera might get bumped here. Hopefully it doesn't move too much. Because I want to see if I can erase just a little bit of this carbon transfer. I don't think it will erase all that much. Well, it kind of does. Not bad. But I also don't want to take off too much paint, so. We'll just leave it there. Oh, geez. That's way too dark. Way too dark. But that might have actually worked out in my favor. There we go. Just easing up on that line just a little bit, you know. Okay. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to move on to this just yet, but I just noticed a spot that I need to clean up a little, so bear with me as I take this little detour. Just over here. There's also one here. That should be fine. That should be good. All right, so we are officially done with this figure. And so we can now move on to this one. This needs to move over just a little. There we go. That's that half. I do have to wait for this to dry just a little bit more. But we're 2 panels away from being mostly done, and then of course some cleanup. But we're still pretty much almost done. All right. Which I'm really excited about because the figures that are in this painting, I think, have wanted to see this thing for a while now. So I'm excited to show them. I might also get rid of the highlights on this necklace here. I mean, they look fine, but because it's not like I'm not painting any white in here, the shine kind of gets lost. So I think I'm just going to fill that in with the black of the paint. That's what makes most sense to me, I think. All right, we'll wash that brush off. The highlights just don't come through that much on it. With the green of the background. If it was on the yellow, if this figure was in the yellow, I think it might work better, but alas, they are not. So, okay. And we'll take this one off. This can, in some ways, be the trickiest part of this thing. Making sure this is lined up. The hair stuck to the tape. There we go. And this bottom part doesn't matter too much if it's lined up, not because it's all black. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's get started on this one. The final segment for you. All right, let's do it to it. I have to angle this way just a bit. So basically what I'm doing is just kind of shaping where the highlights in the hair are going to be before I lay any of the real heavy stuff down here. At least that's the plan. Now, will that plan be successful? Who knows? Who knows? All this down here is basically dark, though, so I'm not too concerned with that. Although this here comes to about there. And then there's just some highlights here. And this big dark shadow on the shirt, which we'll block in right now. Just like so. And the rest of this is all pretty dark. Some of these areas and textures down here on the clothing, some of it I'm just kind of making up the highlights and shadows on my own, using the reference as a guide, but just kind of blocking in where I think some highlights and shadows would look good. Kind of like so. All right. This has been a wonderful exercise in trying this entire series has been a wonderful exercise in me trying things that I haven't tried before. In terms of techniques, in terms of style, really. It's been really good. I think it's important when you're a creator of some kind to really challenge yourself that way. Push your own boundaries, see what it is that you are really capable of. And I mean, it's very hard to do. It's very hard to push past failure or be willing to open yourself up to failure. But if you're able to, if you fail, you fail. And then you know exactly, you may not know exactly how you failed, but knowing that you did and what you would do differently, I think is an important part of that step. Hair is always so difficult. Even relatively simple hair, because it's not like I gotta actually add color to this. Because it's just black and, well, green. I was gonna say black and white, but it's not really white. Black and green. Still a difficult thing to do. Hair is tricky. Actually, I was telling my wife this the other day. After we had finished this segment here in the center, that hands are difficult. There's a lot of things about human anatomy that are difficult to put on canvas or to draw, you know, and keep proportionate. But noses, noses are difficult. I struggle with noses a lot more than I do hands, I think. All right, there we go. I've had multiple streams where I've talked about failure and the fear of failing, and how to be an artist you kind of have to let that go, that fear of failure, because you are going to fail. You're going to try things out, you're going to mess up on them. Then, unless you want to give up the medium altogether, kind of just got to hop back on that horse and do it again. I mean, of course, it can be discouraging to try something out and fail, or submit something to a gallery and have it fail, or show it to people and they don't have the reaction to it that you hope that they do, you know. Um, that can all be frustrating, but it's very important not to let that discourage you. Frustration and discouragement are part of the deal. And it's tricky balancing that with the whole, like, creating for yourself and not for others, you know. There's always a big debate within art about selling out, and you know, I've seen the scourge of being labeled a sellout put on people who I don't really think deserve it. And basically, they were called sellouts because they make, like, what people would term like hotel art, right? And it's like, hey, if that person enjoyed doing those things, if they like doing that, if that's their preferred subject to paint or draw or what have you, and they were going to do that anyway, and they're not, and this is the most important part, not compromising any of their own principles just to make a dollar, and they're not a sellout. They just make art that you don't like, but that's fine. That's not against the law. I mean, selling out isn't against the law either, but, like, that's not against the rules. People are allowed to make stuff that you don't like. That's fine. Doesn't mean they're a sellout. A sellout would be if somebody started painting like wildlife paintings that they didn't really like, they didn't really connect with, because they don't like doing that kind of subject matter or that kind of material. But they did it specifically to make a dollar. And even then, like, that's just kind of like survival. I always think of selling it like you do what you got to do, right? I always think of selling out more of like you compromise your own moral principles. So if for a buck you did what those comedians did and go over to Saudi Arabia and perform a comedy show just because the price is right, you know, that's selling it, in my opinion, at least. But what do I know? I'm just some guy on the internet. All right. But there is this pervasive idea where if you go mainstream, or you make it as an artist, you've sold out, which I think is on the whole quite ludicrous. All right. So we're almost done with this figure now. And we just got one to go. And then some cleanup. And this piece will be done. And we just got this little shoulder piece here. There we go. Ooh, the soup my wife is making is smelling real good right now. It's a soup that her Oma made all the time. And one of her aunts gave her the ingredients. And not really a recipe in terms of quantities or anything like that. You just kind of got to measure with your heart. Good. All right, so we'll wash this brush off, and then we've got one last piece to do. Look at that. I love the starkness, like between the different pieces. I think each one of them gives like a very different vibe. But one more to do. We're just gonna wait for this to dry a little bit. Thankfully it's acrylic, so it's gonna dry quickly, but still gotta wait for it to dry just a minute. You know. Because if the paint is still like kind of wet, I will actually like pull some up with the tape, so don't want to do that. And we've got our final figure here. All right. Just gonna check something on my computer real quick, make sure we're all good. Because there's been times where there was a time once where OBS said that I was still streaming, and then I went on Twitch and I wasn't. That wasn't great. That's not what I'm checking, but it just reminded me of it. Okay, good. Ooh, good song. Good song. Palette by City Girl. All right, there we go. That should be this should be dry enough now. Yeah, it feels dry enough. Don't stick to yourself. It's not polite. Okay. Now, if you're doing this, you don't want to reuse the tape too much, because eventually it will start to lose the adhesive quality, and it will probably start lifting and letting a little bit of paint through. But I think we'll be fine. All right. Final section. Here we go. Okay. Grab my palette. And here we go. This is going to be very easy because the majority of this is just going to be black. This figure didn't actually have a whole lot of highlights in their hair in the reference photo, so. You know, one of the things I try not to take for granted is the fact that for doing stuff like that I do have fairly steady hands. That would make it so much more difficult if I didn't. For the ends of the hair. For the ends of the hair here, we're actually going to use the brush's natural fray, if you will, to actually make our job a little bit easier. Extend that down a little bit. No one will know. No one will know that's a mistake. You always hear artists talk about how when they do make mistakes, just don't tell anybody. You know, don't say it's a mistake. Say it's a purposeful choice, and then people will, you know, believe you. And it's funny, and I don't take umbrage with anybody who does that. But me, I like to admit when I make a mistake. You know, because it makes I I know if I've seen artists that I like, you know, I do like when I'm looking at this stuff and being like, whoa. I do like when they're actually like, oh, actually that was a misstep by me. I want to do that better next time, you know, or when they do something by accident and don't try to play it off like they meant to do that the whole time. I like that, and thus I try to do the same thing, you know. Be like, oh no, actually that wasn't purposeful. That was completely by accident, and it just turned out it worked out okay, you know, because there's nothing wrong with that. There's a very famous song by Stevie Wonder called "Isn't She Lovely?" Right? There is a part of "Isn't She Lovely" where Stevie's doing um, a harmonica solo, as he does, because he's, you know, Stevie Wonder. Um, but there's a moment in there it's hidden in the final mix because there's so much else going on. Because there's like an actual recording of him and his I'm not sure if she was his wife, but the mother of his daughter. Um, I'm pretty sure they were married at the time. Anyway, um, of his daughter, his newly born daughter, and I think she was probably like one or something. I don't know. And the mother and Stevie, all you know, it's a recording of one of his daughter's baths, right? So that recording is going on over top of the instrumental, and because of that, you you can't hear Stevie very audibly mess up part of that solo. Um, but he revealed it on an episode of a it was a TV show called Classic Albums where they discussed the making of classic albums, and they were talking about songs in the key of life, which "Isn't She Lovely" is from. And Stevie was like, "Oh, you get to hear my mistake here," and yeah, he very pointedly like just messes up, hits the wrong sequence of notes. But it's fascinating to listen to because that's Stevie Wonder. You know, that is a master of his craft, and he messes up. It's like the beginning of Roxanne by the Police, where Sting leaned on he leaned back on the keyboard and it was still live and it picked it up on the recording and they left it in. I love stuff like that too when you have mistakes and you leave them in because it makes it a more because it's a very discordant chord, like it's barely a chord at all, like it's definitely not purposeful, but it sounds cool and you're like, ooh, I wonder if they did that on purpose because, you know, that sounded really interesting. Okay, I think that about does it for the hair. And now we get to shirts. Which again, we're going to try and get as much paint off this brush as possible. There's still like a lot of paint in this brush, so we've got to work really hard to get all the paint out. There we go. All right. Oh, I just realized you can't see this. Hey, welcome back, Gage. Hey, it's perfectly all right if you fall asleep during my stream. The body needs rest because remember, the body keeps the score. You gotta make sure you take care of yourself. But welcome on back. I hope dinner was good. We are on the final section of the final panel of this painting, and then we're gonna do some cleanup, and then the painting will be done. Which will be exciting because I've been working on this thing for a while. I mean, it hasn't been straight. Like there's been like lapses, just life gets in the way, and you put a painting up, and it was hot dogs, so not brilliant, but a food I can make in my current condition. Then that's that's brilliant to me. If you're able to satiate yourself when you're not feeling well, that's a win. It is exciting, but yeah, sometimes life gets in the way, and you put a painting up, and then you don't get back to it for a while, and that happened a couple of times with this painting. But here we are on the verge of it being done. These shadows and everything don't have to be exact. I'm not too worried about getting it exact. Almost there. Like I said, for a lot of this shadow and stuff in here, I'm kind of making up a lot of this as I go, following the reference image as a guideline, but I'm not too pressed if it's not exactly like it is on here. Like it's fine. All right. Got a few more hairs here that I got to throw in. There we go. All right. I'm gonna get a good amount of paint off the brush again, and we'll come back up in here. Start filling in the background elements. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Now I gotta fix that whole area up. Thankfully that came off okay. I do need to get more paint off this brush. Okay. I think that just about does it. I don't know about you all, but I'm fairly happy with that. So we can darken this up just a bit. There we go. All right, now I'm going to reposition the camera a little bit. Well, we're going to do this peel first. Satisfying. There we go. And I'm just gonna go around and just kind of like go spot by spot, just kind of filling things in, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then we'll be able to call this a finished painting. More or less. But there's just some spots, mostly where the two sides meet, where two edges meet. Where sometimes there's just there needs to be a little bit more pigment. That's more or less what I'm doing. In some areas where there could be just a little bit more paint. And I know you can't really see it like on the camera where these areas might be, but I can see it right in front of me, so. This edge is mostly okay. We're just gonna splash a little more pigment on there. We're basically just doing this because sometimes those areas where you can see the very clear delineation between the two, it gets a little bit distracting. I find it a little bit distracting, so. Better to just kind of try and clean it up a bit. But more or less, this is looking okay. There's not too many areas like that. There were a lot more on the first painting. But that was me trying to figure out what I was doing, so that makes sense. Okay, so now what we got to do is we got to touch up a few areas in the background. I'm going to need black, white, and my yellow paint. I think my yellow is still down here. Yeah. Because there are a few areas in the background that could use a little touching up. But once we do this, I think it'll pretty much be done. Actually, no, I lied. I just spotted a couple other areas that I want to work on. That was more blue than I wanted. Some white. Blues stick together. Ah, there we go. I'll probably need more white than that, but that's fine. I'll worry about that later. Okay. Let me touch this up first. There's some little marks here and there on the background, like white part, or I guess what would be, excuse me, the white part. And I'm not too concerned about any of that. What I'm most concerned with is like this area up here. There's like a spot of red paint that somehow made it onto this canvas. I don't know how, but it's just sitting up here. Oh, I just realized you all can't see that. Sorry about that. It's right up here. So we're just gonna mix up some paint. Try our best to color match. And we don't need a whole lot. We just need enough. To cover that spot. Now, is this going to be matched enough? I need more white. Just kind of dabbing it on. Now, I'll probably have to do 2 coats of that, but that's good for now. And then there was a green area over here that I needed to fix up. Again, not a very big area, but it's where some paint bled through. So I want to take care of it. Strike while the iron's hot, you know? Ah, thank you, Gage. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm glad you think so. It's been a blast to work on these. And once again, thank you for your suggestion to use the carbon transfer paper. It's been a godsend. It's been a Gage send. It was a brilliant idea. I had no idea how I was actually going to get these faces on here. So some of the green bled onto the black, but that's all right because it's black. So we just get some black paint and go back over it. Yeah, I'm glad it worked too. There we go. Now it's like it didn't even bleed through. Perfect. You were gonna freehand it, and I was like, hell no. It's true. I was. All right, there's a couple more areas that I just want to clean up a bit, just touch up a bit. Get some dust off of here. Yeah, the freehanding, like, it would have worked, but it would not have worked nearly as well. It definitely would have been jankier. 100%. Give some added dimension there. That's the other area I was thinking about. This figure's cheek. Here. And come out just a little bit more. Gonna get that green again. Basically, I'm just trying to make her look a little less mad in this particular area. Just a little bit. There we go. That's better. Now I'll just get some black paint. Okay. Oh, I gotta clean up these lips a little. That was the area I was thinking of that I couldn't remember, but I wasn't saying out loud that I couldn't remember because I didn't want to look foolish. And again, I realize that a lot of this is stuff that you guys can't see, but and it's not really gonna matter all that much in the grand scheme of things, even if I left these areas in. But I didn't want to, so I'm not gonna. Simple as that. There we go. All right, I think that about does it for this. I'm going to sign it, and then I'll grab the camera, and we'll look at it from a distance. This is dry enough, right? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. This is number 2 of 3. And I'm not starting 3 yet because Jake still hasn't sent me the photo that he wants me to use of him and his wife. Down here. Impressive as hell, especially for a guy who was like, I don't like doing portraits, they're too hard. Well, thank you. I'm learning. You know, at the behest of folks like you. You know, you've inspired me to try my best to actually do portraits, you know? There we go. All right. Oh, just hit the camera. But that's all right because we're grabbing the camera anyway. All right. I'm so excited for whatever gallery gets to show this piece. Thank you. Thank you. Me too. All right. And there we go. There it is in its totality. Not too bad. Not too shabby at all. So yeah, this one's called Chimera. The other one that I already did, part of it on stream, was a amalgam. But this one is its twin. Well, it's gonna be triplets, but Chimera. Here we go. Let's throw you guys back on here while I close out the stream. Okay. Stop shaking. Just because I let go of you doesn't mean you can shake. All right. Well, thank you for coming on in, everybody. I do appreciate each and every single one of you for dropping in, whether you were lurking, whether you dropped in for a second, whether you were chatting. I appreciate each and every single one of you for coming on in and allowing me to show you what I do. All right. So with that, thank you. I'm probably going to take a picture of it and then spend probably today and tomorrow kind of tweaking it to make sure that it actually looks, because I don't have a professional camera. I'm just using my phone. So basically making it look as close to the real thing as possible with my phone. So if you don't see it, roommate saw it. Roommate went, Jesus Christ, when he saw it, he walked in for a moment. Hey, nice. Good. That's the kind of reaction I want to elicit. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming in, and thank you Gage for the wonderful conversation as always. Yeah, I'm gonna spend tonight and probably tomorrow, you know, I'm gonna take multiple pictures of this thing and then, you know, just do some minor tweaking on it just to make sure the colors are right and all that kind of stuff before I post it online. But it will be posted on Discord and my Blue Sky and oh, of course, my website, Instagram, all that stuff. Is that going in a gallery? Yes. Very cool. Yes, so hopefully, I gotta make a decision whether I'm gonna put this one or amalgam. And in case anybody is wondering what I mean by amalgam, let me pull it up real quick. So we have this one that we just did. And then this one I'm pulling up now is amalgam. Wait, where did my... Hello? There we go. That's amalgam. I should probably scroll down some. There we go. So yeah, this one's like I said, this one is amalgam. Can't fit the whole thing on there, but you get the gist of it. That one's Amalgam. And here we have Chimera. So, I think I like the newer one better, but I like both. Fair, fair. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I think I like them both the same at this point. I like them both for different reasons. Like Amalgam, I really really like because it was my first foray into it, and it actually worked. Something about the composition of this new one hits better to me. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, that's what I love about art. It's so different for everyone. You know. Maybe it's the fact that there's a couple in this one. You know. I won't reveal too much more, but two of these figures are a couple. The other one, none of them are coupled. So uh, maybe that's what it is. But compositionally, yeah, I think this one's a little bit different. I think what it is with this one too is everyone's looking forward. Yeah, exactly like you said. I think they're all facing forward. Yeah. The third one that I do, there might be a figure that's looking off to the side again. It depends on the pictures that I get, but yeah, no, this one was fun. This one was fun. I mean, they're all fun. I love doing this stuff with you guys. The other one, there's one facing left and two facing forward, and I wish one was facing left, then forward, then right. Fair, fair. Maybe that's what I'll do with the last one. Maybe I'll have Jake like look to the left and have his wife look to the right, because the one that I do have is looking forward. The one picture that I have, so maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that. That's a good idea. See, Gage, you're full of good ideas. But with that, let's see. Is there anybody on doing anything? Not really. Gage, do you have any art friends doing anything currently? Because I do not. Someone on the live channels we think you like, just hit affiliate. Good for them. Good for them. Hope they're a decent person. I don't know anything about them. Bun is on. Hang on. Fair. But yeah, I'm glad you all could be here when we finish this thing. Putting a name to the faces, like I said in the title. Uh, uh, this one's Chimera. Man. She's in focus mode, so she's not watching chat. Fair enough. Fair enough. That's all right. That's all right. Well, in that case, I think I might let you all choose your own adventure, um, and find the person that you want to watch. Because yeah, I've got no one doing any art right now. So, and again, I got a Digital Ducky is playing Warhammer, but they're an artist. Zombie Guts is doing art, but I don't know them. I just like their shit. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. I will take those names down, um, because I gotta like I hate raiding and running new people because I don't want to just dip in and be like, hey, it's me. Hi. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll stick around for a few minutes. Zombie Guts is doing art. Let's see what they're about. Let's mute the tab so that why is Twitch's search thing not? It's just circling for me. Of course, I just want to search this person. Probably Cloudflare. Zombie Guts and Digital Ducky. All right, let me try clicking on this. They're doing a zombie surprise. Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, there we go. Oh, gore warning. Oh, whatever. We're all adults. Their mic is off for now, but that's all right. We can raid out to them. I'll say hi for a minute and then bounce. All right. Zombie guts. There we go. All right, we're gonna go say hi to a new friend whose mic is off, so they won't be able to verbally say hi back to us, but that's okay. But yeah, thank you again, everybody, for coming on in. We're going to be we won't be doing art until next week, until next Monday. But in the meantime, on Sunday at 11:30 a.m., we're going to be playing some Undertale. So we're getting toward the end of that, and then it'll be time to decide whether we do Tears of the Kingdom or Deltarune after. But that'll be a discussion for Sunday. In the meantime, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week. If I don't see you, hope you have a great weekend. I'm glad that you were able to come in here and see us do this. So really appreciate you. And yes, thank you, Gage. I will most definitely. But yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, wonderful rest of your week, wonderful rest of your life, and hopefully it's a long life. But yeah, I will catch you guys on the flip side. Take it easy, everyone. My scene would work. There we go.